F3C4. I'm about to show y'all. I want y'all to check my Facebook after this live, so I can show y'all what I be talking about. Where was I? Diplomatic immunity. This is coming right after the video of the 1963 Vienna Convention. Lisa Carey, good to see you. Woo! We consuls on this thing. We're operating in government, constitutional fold of government. I've been on this platform for a year. DuPont Noble Bay, good to see you. I've got about 150 videos. A lot of them are more about entertainment than it is about law. So I went around and turned it to law instead of entertainment, even though I do love my energy as well. As it stands, people from other body politics around El Morocco is telling me that when they call different body politics that are out there professing to help the nationals in the land, that no one is answering. And they say to me, but every time you call, you answer your phone. That's because I make myself accountable to the people. Now, before, I'm sorry. I apologize to y'all. I try to turn it into the same thing everybody else did. Some type of streamlined organization to where when they call, it's just like this. Ring, ring, information, bam. Ain't nobody gets any help. Don't nobody know shit, what to do, where to go, who to call, none of that. So I said, forget that. That's not how I'm going to operate. I'm not about to sit and put y'all like cattle in some type of corral to when y'all call, y'all can't get no real viable consul. Look, I'm not putting you through no streamlined system. I'm going to walk with you until it's done. And when we are done, I hope that your estate, which is your bloodline, your airline, your land, your property, is afforded to my bloodline whenever we come around. Because that's how the Moroccan kingdom actually had empires all over the globe. They were trusts between families and heirship. But the bloodlines and the airlines, they were all trusts. And the trust would say stuff like this. If your bloodline knocks on my bloodline's door, your bloodline got a place to stay. If your bloodline knocks on my bloodline's door, then your bloodline got a plate of food to eat. And they got some time to get themselves together to be able to keep on operating. Whoa! But don't nobody want to tell you how we really used to do it. The reason why we all messed up is because we not with our family. That's the problem. I'm going to preach to y'all right now because I feel it. You got your mama in the nursing home. You got your daddy in the service corporation. You got your auntie and your sister living off of Rome right now. Because y'all don't know how to just hang together, to chill, to be with one another. How is your family members homeless and you got a home? What? You a contradiction to yourself. If you got family members that you can't, look, you better figure out how to exist in harmony or in partial harmony. Look, I don't care if you're mad at me. I should still be able to hang around on your couch if I'm your blood. I don't care if we got differences or I done did something to offend you. No matter what happened, then I deal with the offense while I'm with you. There should be no separation in our bloodlines or our airship at all. Woo! We did the Vienna Convention the other day. Now we on diplomatic immunity. Now, we just got, not too long ago, in the mail, plates for foreign jurisdiction issued by the U.S. Department of Department of Travel. Oh, yeah. From the tribes. Don't play with us. Yeah. 1963 Vienna Convention we did the other day. Now we doing, what is this? Because I'm taking y'all step by step what you need. Diplomatic and consular immunity, guidance for law enforcement and judicial authorities. Aren't this what we're supposed to be talking about right now? Hey, mama, you know who you are. King God Ra. I'm doing this because I'm finna leave soon. So I have to get everybody on the same page because those who want to come with are going to need to be credentialed up. For real. Guidance on law enforcement and judicial authorities. Introduction, legal and practical basis of immunity. Number 3, categories of persons entitled to privileges and immunities. That is, members of diplomatic missions, members of consular posts, normal and special bilateral, international organization personnel, and national missions to such organizations, designated employees of TECRO and TECO, TECRO and TECO. Y'all look that up. Number 4, identification of persons entitled to privileges and immunities in the United States. What? Identifications of persons entitled to privileges and immunities in where? These United States. Oh, but I'm going to be in China, so I ain't got to worry about that. I'm also going to be in Roatan and Central Republic, so I don't have to worry about that. Thank you very much. Identification cards issued by the U.S. Department of State, foreign diplomatic passports, and U.S. diplomatic visas, non-conclusive for immunity, tax exemption cards, automobile registration, telephone information and verification. King Rock, I need you to get a hold of Will L. That is the man that is going to be assisting in the plant-based kitchens. You two are to connect because we're going to build plant-based kitchens all over El Morocco, where the produce and the goods in the kitchens is all organic and pure plant-based. Then we're going to take the more science and we're going to learn how to take the food and make plant-based meals so our people, now, no more parasites in the brain. Terms and procedures, correct understanding of immunity. Well, I'll close that because I don't know what that is. Personal inviolability versus public safety, waiver of immunity, expulsion procedure, official acts of immunity, termination of immunity, and archives. I'm going to be credentialing the consuls that give us a year commitment while we're traveling around the world building consulates. These credentials are complete, perfected status correction. We're not talking about status correction as in proclaim your nationality. We're talking about status correction as in when you are being looked at in the service corporation system, they see that you are not to be touched. On their screen, your information says heir, do not detain, diplomat, whatever the hell it's supposed to say. So you don't got to worry about that. International law, to which the United States is firmly committed, requires that law enforcement authorities of the United States extend certain privileges and immunities to members of foreign diplomatic missions and consular posts. Most of these privileges and immunities are not absolute, and law enforcement officers retain their fundamental responsibility to protect and police the orderly conduct of persons in the United States. This booklet, blah, 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 provides all of that. It explains how to identify and verify the identity of such persons and furnishes guidance to assist law enforcement officers in the handling of incidents involving foreign diplomatics and consular personnel. Now, early on when I first started preaching about consulates, everybody was saying about being foreign. Our mission is foreign to them. What is our missions as consuls? From Prophet Noble Jew Ali. 1099 affidavit says, consulate in it. If you have any questions, you can talk to my consulate. I'll send you that affidavit that Prophet Noble Jew Ali filed. There's another one, 10105905. It has consul all in it, everywhere you look. So you take that consul document that's already been filed and recorded. You take the affidavit, the 1099 affidavit with the consul that's already been recorded. You take your diplomatic immunity that's already recorded in the United Nations, and you take the 1963 Vienna Convention, and you put them together in a packet. Now you have a clear, concise way of how to operate as a consul in El Morocco. Come on with it, baby. Let me add a couple more documents to that. Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1786 and 87. The Constitution for the United States of America. The Organic Constitution, by the way. Let's add a couple more documents just to be sure. Jabril Emi, good to see you. Most people have been on Facebook listening to the Hoteps talk about the geodetic land survey. Got that. Had that. Put it into effect, take that land survey. How do you secure your land? It's a whole bunch of steps, but I'll give you a couple of them. First, you get a certified copy from the Library of Congress of the Geodetic Land Survey. The registered number I can give to you, not on this line. Or you can order the book, or a lot of people have it in different places. So you order through that registration number and you get a certified copy of the Geodetic Land Survey. You take that land survey and you take the 10105905 and you take the which in that 10105905 it has a recorded survey as well of our land. You put them together. Then you take your estate, whatever geographical location of whatever foreclosed property that you want. You put your foreclosed property in trust. You take all your verifiable documents. You make sure that they're secure and recorded. You update them with the probate court. After updating with the probate court, and 30 days later, they're in a notice of default because they can't prove to you that's not your land. Come on with it, Jibril. Amen. I'm teaching right now. So after the notice of default, you got some more steps to take. You want to send the notice of default to the bank and let them know that they've been in default too, because they can't prove it. Oh, you got defaults all over. You take those defaults down to the court. You give them to the court of clerks, and you say you might as well give these to the sheriffs too, just in case any bank tells you that they own it or any other person own it, and you think you have the lawful authority to evict me off of my property. Come on with it, baby. Y'all could call me for the rest of the steps. What is diplomatic immunity? Diplomatic immunity is a principle of international law by which certain foreign government officials are not subject to jurisdiction of local courts and other authorities for both their official and, to a large extent, their personal activities. Really? What does that mean? Well, I'm a consul, first and foremost, for the Al-Moroccan Empire. What is my foreign mission? Well, to the Constantinians around here, it's all good. It's better to be here than ever. Good to see you, Ninja. Our foreign mission in our land is to teach the Christian colonizers the truth about our religion. Islam, if you side to the Quran, whatever our religion is. Hold on a minute. Let's just get down to the nitty-gritty. If our traditions was worshiping nature, then it's our right to teach as foreign diplomats in our land. Any foreign diplomat or any corporate member or any Christian college or anybody or anything, it's our right to teach them our history, our traditions, our everything. Now, I got 50 gigs of data. You know what I'm doing with that? I'm making a university. What you thought? Where everybody could come in and read all 50 gigs of data. Come on, baby. Yeah. I give it to you free because people have a problem paying. People have a problem paying because they can't, and people have a problem paying because they think that fiat frees them. Oh, come on, buddy. Information. Now, I did it backwards. I went through all college, and I took all the loans and all the grants out, and I ain't go to none of them damn classes. And when I did go to class, I wasn't paying no damn attention. I got all of that school money, though. I know that. Then the ancestors said, hey, buddy, if you think the wealth is here, then try your brain. And then I started consuming information, and that was it. Yeah. Listen, take your straw man and do what everybody else does, which is use the energy of your straw man to bring life to whatever the thing that's dead. How do they do that? Through instruments, which to them is like witchcraft. They take your dead body and they siphon your information, and then they siphon your information and pretend that they're you, currency, yep, wealth, commerce, energy, right? Pretend that they're you, and then all around the world they're trading your family and name state. Come on, man. It's like witchcraft to them. It's evil as shit. They be drinking your blood, they be harvesting your organs and all of that. It's pure evil for your energy. The principle of diplomatic immunity is one of the oldest elements of foreign relations. Ancient Greek and Roman governments, for example, accorded special status to envoys, and the basis concept has evolved and endured until present. As a matter of international law, diplomatic immunity, primarily based on custom and international practice, until quite recently in the period since World War II. A number of international conventions, most noteworthy, the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, have been concluded. We did consular relations yesterday. Whoa, come on with it. Hey, Jesus. These conventions have formalized the customary rules and made their application more uniform. Now, how are we going to travel around the world, bringing our people back in the constitutional fold of government, if we don't have the lawful credentials? How? And the teachings? How? We can't keep on creating writs with flags and sending them to places and never getting a response from anybody. And when we get the response, it ain't a positive performance concerning allowing us the privilege of exercising in that which already belongs to us. Notwithstanding the antiquity of the concept of diplomatic immunity, its purpose is often misunderstood by the citizens of this and other countries. Occasional abuses of diplomatic immunity, which are brought to public attention. Tumac Tunde Gems L. We are connecting. We ain't on this Facebook profile not building. We build tangibly. So you, Tumac Tunde Gems L, and you, Will L, and you, King God Ra, all of you are masters in the plant-based system. You're going to get together and you're going to talk about a meal plan and develop ingredients in meal plans and sciences to be able to feed our people in Al Morocco. When y'all are done with those meal plans and those menus, then you're going to get a hold of me so I can throw chakra that shit everywhere. Woo! The universe is going to hear me. Look, when I was younger and growing up, I didn't have no voice. I let people talk about me and think about me and never said anything to any of them about anything they thought. Now, I get to say everything. Because, look, I got more than a voice. Anyway, the term diplomatic immunity is popularly and erroneously understood to refer to special protections afforded all employees of foreign governments who are present in the United States as official representatives of their home governments. Law enforcement officials, however, must have more sophisticated understanding of the concept. There are over 100,000 representatives of foreign governments, including dependents, in the United States. Many of these persons may be entitled to some degree of immunity under international law. Some of these persons are members of diplomatic missions. Others are assigned to consular posts and still are employees of international organizations or members of national missions to such international organizations. For each of these categories of persons, particular rules apply even within these categories. Different levels of immunities may be accorded to different classes of persons. Whoa! Listen. The different levels of immunity. Yours is the highest for a different class of person. What is your class? What is your status after I send you this perfected status correction packet? What is it? It is air, baby. It is air. Yeah. Legal and practical basis of immunity. The special privileges and immunities accorded foreign diplomatic and consular representatives assigned to the United States reflect rule developed among the nations of the world regarding the manner in which civilized international relations must be conducted. The underlying concept is that foreign representatives can carry out their duties effectively only if they are accorded a certain degree of insulation from the application of standard law enforcement practices of the host country. Translation: if there's a whole bunch of bitch-ass people in your city and town using statutes and codes and policies to make you think that they're laws, we have a way out for you. Color of law and color of language. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The United States benefits greatly from the concept as it protects U.S. diplomats assigned to countries with judicial systems far different than their own. Everything about us is different. So it's easy for us to say, hey, you got to protect us, while we rolling around teaching our traditions and our sciences again. Oh, when these crazy-ass Christian people start calling us demons because we done took a flower and we're smelling the flower and thanking the flower for smelling so good, or thanking the water for being what it is when it goes in our bodies, and they calling us demons, y'all got to protect us. Oh, when these crazy-ass Muslims are calling the Christians crazy and us crazy for hugging a tree and telling the tree, thank you for the produce, and the ground, thank you for the produce, they got to protect us. And you know your freedom of speech is afforded to you. If you have the freedom of speech, why the fuck aren't you talking to everyone that needs to know the truth? Everywhere you go, every corporation, every school, every system, you should be telling the truth to all of them all the time. The various categories of immunity are explained below, and a table is provided on page 40, blah, blah, blah. Let me go through it. U.S. law regarding diplomatic immunity has its roots in England in 1708. Wrong. I'll bring you your roots soon. The British Parliament formally recognized diplomatic immunity and banned and banned the arrest of foreign envoys. In 1790, the United States passed similar legislation providing absolute immunity for diplomats and their family and servants, as well as for lower-ranking diplomatic military personnel. This 1790 law remained in force until 1978, when the present Diplomatic Relations Act was enacted to replace it. 22 U.S.C. 254. Come on, baby. They ain't gonna do it. Yes, it is. In the womb, in the prime world, they don't understand that eternal love, how a man is going to walk with you until it's done. Yeah, that's unconditional love. It ain't, I'm not going to answer my phone. It ain't, figure these documents out yourself. It ain't none of that. It's, no matter what happens, I'm going to walk with you until the job's done. And he who began a good work is faithful to complete it. Come on with it, baby. They don't know nothing about these scriptures. The principal purpose of the 1978 Act was to bring U.S. law into line with the 1961 Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, which entered into force for the United States in 1972. They created this so they could go around and teach Christianity without being imposed upon. They could lawfully go and impute their Christianity all throughout the world and not get imposed upon. So here's their foreign diplomatic relations ongoing equity. Yes, it is. I got a file on equity too. Boy, it's bad. I'm telling you, equity file is bad. The 1978 Act imposed a more precise regime and reduced the degree of immunity enjoyed by many persons at diplomatic missions. On a practical level, a failure of the authorities of the United States to fully respect the immunities of foreign diplomatic and consular personnel. Who do you think Noble Drew Ali was registered under? As a consular? Yeah, I think so. He was supposed to be protected by them, because his diplomatic mission was to teach us not only our history, not only our roots and our traditions, but constitutional fold of government from the perspective of the Muslim nation. So if his foreign mission here in the United States was to teach us this, then all of the grand sheiks that were commissioned were supposed to do the same. Do I hear Act 1? If the grand sheiks in all of the temples aren't teaching consul and diplomatic relations and how it relates to how we can officially, without being harassed by policy enforcers, teach our foreign, not doctrine, truth, thank you very much, into the system, then we'd have a working system. We'd have a working way to do things. These grand sheiks don't get it right, though. It should be emphasized that even at its highest level, diplomatic immunity does not exempt diplomatic officers from the obligation of conforming with national and local laws and regulations. National? Diplomatic immunity is not intended to serve as a license for persons to flout the law and purposely avoid liability for their actions. Do I hear a whole bunch of these crazy ass people pretending to be Moorish American so they could get out of whatever crime they committed? Oh, did I? Yeah. While police officers are obliged under international customary and treaty law to recognize the immunity of the envoy, they must not ignore or condone the commission of crimes. As is explained in greater detail below, adherence to policy procedures in such cases is often essential in order for the United States to formulate appropriate measures through diplomatic channels to deal with such officers. Tell me why one of these Moors called me today. Everybody know the great Mikael and his beautiful empress, Johanna. They say to me, they got counsel to run from the policy enforcers before they arrest them. What? Who counseled you? Oh, let me not say none. But I'm not telling you to run. I'm telling you to take this document and make them read this shit. Yeah. You better stand. You better stand every time. And all of your family members on the streets, call them and tell them that they can come home. And whatever it is that they did to you that prevented y'all from being one unified body, y'all need to forgive them and become one unified body again. Yeah, it's time. Because the walls is closing in on y'all. All of you family members, who are you going to turn to? Your other family members? Oh, shit, they're not around. Who are you going to call? Who are you going to talk to when these people band together as a nation state, like Trump is saying he's getting ready to do, they're going to create some type of nation. They're not going to be a corporation anymore. They're going to be some nationalized whatever, and then be recognized in the United Nations or wherever they're at to lawfully recognizably do what they're doing. So when they come up on your land or your people, when the nationals of the European Empire or the Albion Empire come on your land, who the fuck are you going to call? Oh, damn. Nobody's around. Where's my friends? Where are my families that when I get up, they get up? When I walk, they walk. When I go to that destination, they are at that destination with me. Who are you going to call? That's right. Then they made that remake version. That shit was tight, boy. I'll be spraying that juice all over everything, boy. Diplomatic missions are traditionally the principal communication link between the country that sends them and the host country. Accordingly, now listen, Noble Drew Ali went to the East. They blindfolded him and told him if he could make it through his way through the pyramids, they would give him the juice. When he came out, he was right under the Sphinx nose. If he made it through the Sphinx, when they knew he was the one. Now look, they gave him the information, and it says it linked between the country that sends them and the host country. The host country is the United Nations or the United States Service Corporation, not us, our country. Our people group is the host land. Sends them back over here with all the laws, the rules, the traditions, the truths, the everything, and he sets up shop. Come on, baby. Reveal it to me, ancestors, so we know what's really going on. Accordingly, the staff of diplomatic missions, embassies, are afforded the highest level of privileges and immunities in the host country. We are in the host service corporation. We're heirs to the land in the host service corporation. They built the country. They built however they did it. Respect. Lies, cheating, pillaging, plundering, war, whatever. They did it. So, if you want to say something, you ain't did it yet. So until you do it, you can't say shit. Oh, come on, buddy. It's called creation. You create it, you got rights over it. They took your stuff, created something, whether it was a resembling picture of you or not, and made it their own. So for all the books they burned, you better write new books. For all of the history that they colored, you better make it right again. You better recolor it and make it right again. Shit, you ain't got time. In the host country, in order that they may effectively perform their important duties. Under modern international law, reflected in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, however, there are different categories of persons within each diplomatic mission, some of whom enjoy greater immunity than others. The categories of diplomatic mission personnel are defined primarily with references to the functions performed. Diplomatic agent is the term for ambassadors and the other diplomatic officers who generally have the function of dealing directly with the host country officials. This category enjoys the highest degree of immunity. The next category is members of the administrative and technical staff of the mission, which includes the persons who support the activities of diplomatic agents. This category includes secretaries, certain clerical personnel, office managers, and certain professional security personnel. Note the term secretary used here should not be confused with the diplomatic rank of secretary, such as first or second secretary, which is normally a diplomatic agent. Members of the administrative and technical staff enjoy privileges and immunities that in some respects are less than diplomatic agents. Here's a privilege and immunity for you. This is business. And all of you consuls just came to chill with me. And we're at a 5-star restaurant. And you just ate 125 FRN note salad. And that thing was great. And it was organic. And it was plant-based. And it was, and it gave you energy, right? It wasn't none of that bullshit, like plastic and crayons. Consular relations on the check. I don't have to write House Joint Resolution shit, but I might as well. HJR 192, paid to the Department of Treasury. Every check. Listen, if you go into another restaurant and you pay a bill, you're stupid. After getting this information, On your bill, on the restaurant, you know what you do? You turn the check around and you write HDR 192. And then you say, pay to the order of the IMF or the Department of Treasury. And then you say, your social and the red number on the back of your social security card. Link. The Treasury Department gets it and goes, okay. There you go. How they gonna send you a bill? You live everywhere. I did it. I seen a traffic cop today. And I thought I was gonna stop at the light. Because it told me not to walk. And I looked at him and I said, my other bro dealing with the courts trying to mess with him with jaywalking. I was like, man, I walk right past that joker. Boy, you better not say nothing to me. You get jacked on so quick. Diplomatic agencies enjoy the highest degree of privileges and immunities. They enjoy complete personal inviolability, which means that they may not be handcuffed, except in extraordinary circumstances, arrested or detained, and neither their property, including vehicles, nor residences, may be entered or searched. Huh? Wait a second. How do we do it? How do we do it, Consulate? How do we do it, OT Bay? How do we do it, all the Moorish scientists in the world? How do we do it, Hoteps? How do we do it, teachers? Diplomatic agents enjoy the highest degree of privileges and immunities. They enjoy complete personal inviolability, which means that they may not be handcuffed, except in extraordinary circumstances, arrested or detained, and neither their property, including vehicles, nor residences, may be entered or searched. Diplomatic agents also enjoy complete immunity from the criminal jurisdiction of the host country's courts, and thus cannot be prosecuted no matter how serious the offense, unless their immunity is, cannot be what? Prosecuted. Immunity from the criminal jurisdiction of the host country's what? Courts. Oh, come on, baby. Unless their immunity is waived by the sending state. Now look, if you get to acting crazy, when you go do these missions, because you got free food and you can write shit off now and you think you just whatever and operating out of emotions, I'm going to revoke your immunity, buddy. I'm going to tell the sending state to revoke your immunity and they going to have your ass. So you better be right. We trying to represent the Al-Moroccan Empire out here. We got to be noble and peaceful. Even though they didn't tell you that if you disrespected the heir of the land, that nigga was pulling out his sheath. Your ass was dead. Head off your shoulders immediately. I'm being serious, boy. That Sharifian, the Sharifan Empire, at the height of the victory of their success in their empire. Boy, that sheath came out that sword so quick. Bam, neck was off. Let you say something crazy to the heirs of the land. Come on with it. Unless the immunity is waived by the sending state. See the following discussion. While it is not ordinarily of concern to police authorities, they also have immunity from civil suits except in 4 very limited circumstances. Now these are police officers, the colonizing corporation, and what they have immunity to from civil suits. In connection with real property transactions not conducted on behalf of the mission. In connection with any role they may play as executor for or heir to an estate being distributed in the whole country. Now listen, if you read the 2014 civil order by the Pope, he said that all the estates were supposed to be given back to the nationals free and without encumbrance. After reading that, then you read this and you say that they cannot be sued for civil suits if they are play as executor. Right now, they're playing as your executor. How are they doing that? Because on their documentation, whenever they put it in, it says executor for the blah, blah, blah estate. But it's your name there. You sign, you consent, you sign, you consent. They have your autograph, they pull your signature, and now the executor of your estate is them. Oh, do they have your social security number? Yep. Oh, do they have your routing number? Yep. Oh, do they have your Treasury Direct account number and your QSIP number located on your birth certificate? Yep. So what does that mean? They have the ability to push a button or to send some forms in to the IMF to get your motherfucking money out the Treasury Department. Excuse us. Oh, maybe they wouldn't be acting as your executor if you would write a trust. For or any role they may play as an executor for or heir to an estate being distributed in the host country. C. In connection with the performance of professional or commercial activities outside of the scope of their official duties, or in respect of counterclaims on the same subject matter. Why do you think they created this? Why do you think they created this? So that they could know their boundaries concerning the heirs. Finally, they enjoy complete immunity from the obligation to provide evidence as witnesses and cannot be required to testify, even, for example, if they have been the victim of a crime. Now, technically, if we were doing what we were supposed to do, we would have our 13 tribal members right now. I've been calling for 13 for about 2 months. I need 13 committed people that are ready to operate as a consulate, right? It says witnesses. So how you afforded a witness of your own peers when none of them are of your bloodline? If they're not of your bloodline and don't have the same haplogroups, those are not your peers. If they don't have the same status and nationality, those are not your peers. So you can't be afforded any lawful due process. And if you took it to trial, even if you told them to take it to trial, none of them are your peers. Muslims are your peers. People who have the foreign diplomatic mission to teach Islamic principles of Islam in America, in the United States, they have your back. But nobody else. So all of the grand sheiks who have this diplomatic immunity, if they do and they're professing to be legitimate consuls in the temples of Noble Jew Ali, if they have this, they should be at the courthouse with you all day, every day, Monday through Friday. Then they should be teaching on Friday, the holy day. So Monday through Thursday. Sunday through Thursday, they should be in court with you. And on Friday, they should be teaching in the holy day. Until they teach you how to stand on your own and give you the credentials so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Oh, so am I, Jabril. Ready like 1 full year of traveling around the globe building consulates ready? I'm going to pause until I get your answer. Jabril Amin. Ready like ready to put in a year building consulates. Tumak Tunde Jem El. For this entire year, you will be fueling the energy of all the council members. We will be having direct, organic, plant-based food sent to all the consulates. I already met the man who has a railroad. He's getting ready to secure stock in the railroad so we can have transportation for the goods around El Morocco. Then when we go to China, we're going to connect the railroad from China to here so we can transport from there. And I'm going to do everything in China that I'm doing here. I'm going to do here. I'm going to do in China what I'm supposed to do here. Yeah. You are everything on paper. Listen, I'm going to be sitting here with you in China. How? By way of my UPU, by way of my Universal Postal Union ability to take my documentation and travel it all across the world and still be sitting in my living room. Because that's what the fuck they are doing. You think George Soros, who has been eating your baby's hearts for the last 6 years, is doing anything but sitting in his house writing pieces of paper? And all these UPU gods be traveling around, communicating privately about what they need done, casting spells through the mail. That's what I'm talking about, Jibriel and me. I'll be ready for you. I'm going to contact you so we can get you official with your credentialings. Just got it in the mail, a tag. Guess what it say? Issued by the United States Department of Travel. Oh, really? Great. E-states, build on that E-states, and respect the counterclaims of the same subject matter when they have been the initiating party in a suit. Finally, they enjoy complete immunity from the obligation to provide evidence as witnesses. Family members forming part of the household of diplomatic agents enjoy precisely the same privileges and immunities as do the sponsoring diplomatic agents. What? What did that just say? It said, family members, that's you. Because y'all my family. Forming part of the household. Y'all form my whole household. I form the part. You're my whole. Enjoy precisely the same privileges and immunities as do sponsoring diplomatic agents. That means that you can't. Well, I ain't even going to go back there and belabor the point. Members of administrative and technical staff. These are all my computer guys. These are all my web designers, my web developers that have been assisting me this year. These are everybody. Technical staff. Administrative and technical staff and diplomatic agents, diplomatic missions perform tasks critical to the inner workings of the embassy. Accordingly, they enjoy privileges, and members of the service staff of diplomatic missions perform less critical support tasks for the missions and are accorded much less in the way of privileges and immunities than are those in the other categories. Service staff members have official acts immunities only. You don't put my people at risk. Don't put my people at risk. Don't sit there and come into the community of the Moors and say that you have the official authority to do something for them. And then when they take your word for it and go out and be taking these documents and taking these IDs and taking all that they be taking and then getting harassed, oppressed, and beat up by the policy enforcers because you don't have the authority that you profess to have, don't do that to my people. It's endangering them. Because when they get killed out here for saying somebody else said that we could do this, you can sleep at night. I can't. When they lose their lives because they're out here slanging this paperwork and trying to enforce government, but not in the correct way that you're supposed to be. Hey, Moonchild, good to see you. Tarico Rex Johnson, good to see you as well. Who is that? Now, Champo, I'm banging right now. I'm helping the family get their diplomatic immunity so they don't have to worry anymore. Moonchild is a teacher, and y'all need to make sure, because he got curriculums for the babies. We need to make sure we're getting supporting Moonchild curriculums to be getting out for the babies. Members of the service staff of diplomatic missions perform less critical support tasks for the missions and are accorded much less in the way of privileges and immunities than are those in the other categories. Service staff members have official acts immunity only, and enjoy no personal inviolability, no inviolability of property, and no immunity from the obligation to provide evidence as witness. The families of service staff members enjoy no privileges or immunities. Oh, yeah. I like this one. Nationals or permanent residents of the United States. Who's the permanent resident? All of the Europeans that have chosen to naturalize into the Almoracan Empire. That's a permanent resident of the United States. When they do their triple seal name change, the United States Service Corporation, which they're now converting themselves into their own actual nation eventually. That's why you hear Trump trying to do what he do, talking about I'm a national. Get your ass out of here, boy. Permanent residents. So they become a permanent resident of curriculum. Okay, Anika Thomas said she would love to see the curriculum. That would be for Moonchild. Moonchild, please connect with Anika Thomas because y'all two is teaching the babies all around the land. And whoever else got that calling, y'all get together, get the information together, let me know so we can put it in the university. Yeah, no more victims to the lies. Yeah. The Moorish American everything concerning lawful authority. It's enforceable by way of the unified body doing it, not because it's lawful in this record, in these recordings of how we're supposed to actually officiate it. If it was, then the moment that they came to you concerning your Moorish American documentation, there would be a dialogue. This country to that country. There would be a dialogue and there would be a resolve of what's going on between two countries. Yes, they can. And what do you mean by join us? It's simple. Don't injure the estates. Let the beneficiaries, which are the heirs, reap the benefits of the corporate commercial activity that's going on around the land. See, when you walk in a building, they're doing commerce on your land. They owe you. How do they owe you? Can you prove that you're a blood heir right? And then they owe you. Yeah, they will pay you a check in credit for doing business on your land. Has he ever seen it done? No, I'm speaking in theory right now because I don't got time to go and try to teach them when I got a whole entire bloodline to teach. I'm trying to teach the Service Corporation their rights and responsibilities to me, and then I'm trying to teach my Asiatic bloodline their rights and responsibilities to themselves. Woo! Come on with it. The general rules set forth previously assume that the staff members of the diplomatic mission are nationals of the sending countries. The United States, as a matter of policy, does not normally accept as diplomatic agents its own nationals. Legal permanent residents of the United States, or others who are permanently residents in the United States, the family members of diplomatic agents enjoy no privileges or immunities if they are nationals of the United States. Look, do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear? Hey, maybe I'm just confusing myself. Did I just confuse myself there? Hold on a minute. The family members of diplomatic agents enjoy no privileges or immunities if they are nationals of the United States. Corporation policy members that's nationals of the United States Service Corporation don't get no immunity when you're operating your diplomatic jack web all over this land. Members of the administrative and technical staff, including their families, and members of the service staff enjoy no privileges and immunities if they are U.S. nationals. That means if you're a corporate citizen, if you're a U.S. corporate citizen, which every last one of you are that have a birth certificate, unless you've got your status corrected, in their corporate system, you are all residents of the United States Service Corporation system. Even if you sent your Moorish nationality documents to 15 departments that don't exist and have any monetary value and wealth, who can't officiate and authorize any of your documents, those people, if you sent to them, if they didn't send you nothing back, then you're not recognized out of the United States Service Corporation system as a national of their corporate system. Oh, shit. Looks like I got some more correcting of my status to do. And by the way, the only forms I ever sent in from the time I've been awoke till now is a name declaration and a judicial notice. That's it. Why? Because I was going to be perfected in my surety before I put my name on anything and started walking my entity around, walking my invisible entity on the earth on paper that they can't see it privately. You need to be private. Please be doing it privately around. So let me show you how it works. When you're dealing in commerce, I really want to say that's private as well. Private is a state. And anything that has to do with communicating correspondence between estates, family members, that's ma and pa. That's the tribal leaders. Commerce is public. People know what you're doing. You're selling goods. You out there in the outer court, inner court, outer court, holiest of holies. You're in the outer court doing commerce. You're in the inner court worshiping and getting your chakras right, and you're in the holiest of holies with your Urim and your Thummim, talking to the Most High about what need to be done on this tangible realm. By the way, you don't even exist. What do you mean? This body is flashes, molecules, and matter. They're flashing at 1,000 million rates a second, and it's materializing your flesh. Yeah, I'm just letting you know. It's called the double slot theory experiment. Policy officers, police officers, should not have to deal with the distinction, since U.S. Department of State issue identification cards with the nationality principle in mind. However, it is important for law enforcement officials to understand these principles generally, because they could confront a situation where a U.S. citizen spouse of a foreign national diplomatic agent who lacks the correct identity documents attempts to establish his or her immunity solely on the basis of proving a relationship with the diplomatic agent. So right now, if you think about it, those who are on the land as body politics are operating as diplomatic agents. That's what they're professing to operate on, right? Let me break it down. So we are taking the information of feeling like we have immunity from the policy and the codes and the procedures out here, and we're operating as if we have the same diplomatic immunity as the person that's professing it to us. Oh, or the body politic that's professing it to us. Oh. So we're attempting to establish our own immunity solely on the basis of proving a relationship to the Moorish Federal Republic government, the Moorish American Consulate, the Federal Moorish Republic, federal government, whatever the hell, the Moorish Science Temple of America, and all the rest of the organizations and subparticles and subsidiaries thereof. And I feel like I'm writing a writ right now. Special bilateral agreements. There are some countries with which the United States has concluded bilateral agreements that grant to all members of the staff in their respective embassies, provided that they are nationals of the sending countries, the privileges and immunities to which only diplomatic agents are normally entitled. That would be us. We have a bilateral agreement. Where's the build? This is the build. The live is the build. Go back and watch the live, Tumac Tunde Jemzel. The live is the build. If you're talking about classes, I need 13. Before I come to any place, wherever you're at, I need 13. So I can credential all 13 at once and build with and make a tribal government. This way, anytime you guys have an issue, anyone on the land with a policy enforcer, we have the tribal judicial authority to go and indict that person. If we don't want to put our own sheriff into the county or the republic so he can officiate on our behalf, then we get to vote the one that we want in. Now, if it's a service corporation member, so be it. As long as that service corporation member is protecting the interests of the nationals. Period. That's the job of them all. Protect the interests of the beneficiaries. This is the bilateral agreement. What bilateral agreement protects us? There's a few. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship is a bilateral agreement. That is a commercial contract. The trust, the Constitution, is a trust. All the other previous documents that Noble Drew Ali already filed is the bilateral agreements. So we're entitled to the immunities by the bilateral agreements. Identification cards will reflect this status, but police officers should be aware of this distinction because they may have to confront situations where a chauffeur or mechanic from the embassy of one of those countries asserts a right to full diplomatic privileges and immunities. You're damn right. You can't get in this car. You can't search this car. You can't have this car. No, you may not talk to anybody in this car. Which, when that policy enforcer walked around and knocked on the window and was talking to people in my car, I told them, don't say nothing to him. And then I told him, he don't have a right to talk to them. What? This is my family. What makes you think I'm going to afford you the privilege of speaking lies in their ear? No, you can't talk to them. Whoa, come on with it. It looks like I'm doing number 4. A member of a mission other than a diplomatic agent permanently resident in the United States for purposes of Article 38.2 and the VCDR Article 71.2 and the VCCR enjoy no privileges and immunities pursuant to the Vienna Convention. Oh, that was a sub-note. Persons sent to the United States on short-term official duty with diplomatic missions ordinarily do not enjoy any privileges and immunities. Law enforcement authorities should nonetheless always seek prompt verification from the U.S. Department of State in particular cases involving such individuals. So, this law enforcement here is going to, Rashad Muhammad, good to see you, brother. They're going to have your diplomatic ID. They're going to call a number, and they're going to say, hey, what number are they going to call? What page is this, 10? I'll tell you what number they're going to call. Let me help you out. The Service Corporation people, when they have your ID in their hand, they're going to call the Office of the Legal Advisor. They're going to call the Office of the Chief of Protocol. They're going to call the Office of Foreign Missions. And they're going to call the Bureau of Diplomatic Security Protective Liaison Division. And you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, we have Asain Tabajet Bey right here. He says he's a diplomatic agent. Is this true? And they're going to go in their system and go, yes. His status has been officially corrected. Thank you, foreign diplomatic agent. Have a great day. Appreciate your foreign corporation policy enforcer. Have a great day. Woo! I'm giving y'all the juice so you can get on the phone and begin calling and getting your lawful credentials as a consulate member, a foreign diplomatic agent. So now you don't have to worry anymore. Where are we at? You ain't teaching this. Been around for a year. You ain't teaching this. Why? Huh? Where am I at? Waivers. Always keep in mind that privileges and immunities are extended from one country to another in order to permit their respective representatives to perform their duties effectively. Nationalizing people, giving them IDs, teaching them about their nationality, helping them navigate the seas of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction law, in order to permit their respective representatives to perform their duties effectively. In a sense, it may be said the sending countries own these privileges and immunities. In a sense, it may be said the sending countries own these privileges and immunities. Therefore, while the individual enjoying such immunities may not waive them, the sending states can and do. Police authorities shall never address the alleged commission of a crime by a person enjoying full criminal immunity with the belief that there is no possibility that a prosecution could result. The U.S. Department of State requires waivers of immunity in every case where the prosecutor advises that, but for the immunity, charges would be pursued. In serious cases, if a waiver is refused, the offender will be expelled from the United States. Listen, it works both ways. The offender will be expelled from the United States, meaning the service corporation will deport you to another country that will receive you, or you, the national, who is operating in judicial authority on the land, will arrest that joker and deport him, or capital punishment him, or detain him, or put him in prison. Look, all join hands with you around the circle. And whoever was just committed as a crime, that would be their jail until we figure out what to do with them. They build jails for their criminals, who are us. We ain't build no jails for our criminals, who are them. Oh, shit. We missing the point, buddy. Look, I just said that you were guilty of a crime and that you need to be held until I figure out what to do with you. Where am I going to put you? Well, since I ain't build no jails and I don't trust you with my children, I guess I can let you go. What the hell? Must be worshiping Jesus right now at 10 a.m. I might have been catching the Holy Spirit. Maybe that's what I was doing. Oh, shit. You are not the baby's father. I bet I was watching Murray or Young and the Restless then. At the time, I should have been studying to know what I needed to be doing on the land. Oh, no, that was BET Late Night. That must have been 106 in Park. That must have been what I was doing. It's over. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. The U.S. Department of State requires waivers of immunity in every case where the prosecutor advises, but for immunity, charges would be pursued. Expelled from the United States. And the U.S. Department of State will request that a warrant be issued and appropriate entries to National Crime Information Center database be made by the responsible jurisdiction. So that's where your information is going. Your information, when we get done showing you how to do proper status correction, will be going to the National Crime Information Center database that's made by the responsible jurisdiction. And in that database, it will show them they have no jurisdiction and show you that you have all. And them that you have all. The seeking of waiver of immunity is handled entirely via diplomatic channels. But effective and informed police work becomes the basis of the prosecutor's decision and the foundation for the U.S. Department of State's waiver request and may subsequent prosecutions or expulsions. They mad at me because every one of you are a consulate. Every one of you are a consular. Prophet Noble Drew Ali intended every last temple to be a consulate. He intended every member of the temple to be a consul. He intended every single temple to be a consulate, as well as a science temple, and so much more that I wish they would start doing. Still talking, still going to the temple when there's no buses, it's a problem. Still going to the temple when there's no printing press, it's a problem. Still going to the temple and you don't have no land distributed to you, it's a problem. Still going to the temple, listening to them teach you, and you are pretty much in the same position as the Christian church has put you. Members of consular posts, normal and special bilateral. About halfway there. I'm going to take a break after this. Where is this? Where did I get it? Honorary consuls. Need that. Need that right there. Honorary consuls are American citizens. That's what you are. Oh, I already did that. I already went through that. No, I didn't. I was on page 10. My bad. Here I am. Member of consular post, normal and special bilateral. Jamal Muhammad, Ayo, good to see you. I'll rock with y'all. You know what? I was going to get off the line so I could take care of myself. I'm going to do that with y'all. Because y'all going to know me just like I know you for the rest of our lives. Now, the last time I did this was about 3 weeks ago. And today I broke because I ain't have no front. What pure frontal is nicotine. Because I'm weaning myself off. And because I ain't have no frontal, I got me some nicotine. So, whatever. Consular personnel perform a variety of functions. I know, y'all get at me later, put your light working on me. I'm trying to get away from it. I know. Consular personnel perform a variety of functions of principal interest to their respective sending countries. That is, issuance of travel documents, attending to the difficulties of their own nationals who are in the host country, and generally promoting the commerce of the sending country. How am I promoting the commerce of the sending country? When I engage in commercial activity with the United States Service Corporation, that's what I'm doing. They want us in commerce because that's the only way they're able to continue to live on this land. But instead of cheating the commerce to give the beneficiaries the wealth, the accumulated wealth that has been handed down, they keep it for themselves. But you're supposed to be in commerce. What is commerce? Your IRS forms that I can show you how to fill out. What is commerce? Your negotiable instruments that I can show you how to create. What is commerce? Trading and bartering. Stock markets. Because Tumac Tunde Gems Ale. Who has a stock in your grocery stores, your organic grocery stores? Huh. Some of your nationals do. They should start purchasing stock by way of using their estates to your organic farms. More organic farms. Yes, they should. Before the Service Corporation seizes the opportunity to sell your stuff on the stock market and pretend they're you. Countries have long recognized the importance of consular functions to their overall relations, but consular personnel generally do not have the principal role of providing communication between the two countries. That function is performed by diplomatic agents at embassies in capitals. So shouldn't we have an embassy at a capital? Shouldn't our consulate for Asiatic nation and for Asiatic Moors have a embassy in a capital? Oh, if we're a real consulate, I believe that we do. The 1963 Vienna Convention on Consular Relations grants a very limited level of privileges and immunity to consular personnel assigned to consulates that are located outside capitals. Oh, really? You determine what consulates are located outside of capitals. There is a common misunderstanding that consular personnel have diplomatic status and are entitled to diplomatic immunity. Consular officers. Consular officers are those members of consular posts who are recognized by both the sending and the host country as fully authorized to perform the broad array of formal consular functions. They only have official acts or functional immunity in respect of both criminal and civil matters. Now they go on this long spew about the immunity being limited, consuls might be arrested, and blah, 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 the spiel, but they're really talking to their own people. They're not talking to you. You have supreme inviolability authority as a consul of the Moroccan Empire. So y'all read this, goes all the way down. Oh, dang, it's my job. All right. Consular officers may be arrested or detained pending trial only if the offense is a felony and that the arrest is made pursuant to a decision by a competent judicial authority. If they don't know the Constitution, they're not a competent judicial authority. If they don't know that there's a treaty and peace and friendship in place, that's not a competent judicial authority. They can be prosecuted for misdemeanors, but remain at liberty pending trial or other disposition of charges. Property of consular officers is not inviolable. Consular officers are not obligated to provide evidence as witnesses in connections with matters involving other official duties, to produce official documents, or to provide expert witness testimonies on the laws of the sending country. Absent a bilateral agreement. We weren't supposed to be talking to the United States Corporation, Service Corporation, pending a bilateral agreement. As indicated, official acts immunity pertains in numerous different circumstances. No law enforcement officer, U.S. Department of State officer, diplomatic missions, or consulate is authorized to determine whether a given set of circumstances constitutes an official act. It says right here in the world documentation that those who are officiating right now or consulate, it says no law enforcement officer, U.S. Department of State officer, diplomatic mission, or consulate is authorized to determine whether a given set of circumstances constitutes an official act. So when we're writing this consulate documentation, whatever it is, and we're sending it to people, we're determining to constitute a judicial act. Unlawful, according to the world documents. Thus, a person enjoying official acts immunity from criminal jurisdiction may be charged with a crime. You may be charged with the crime if you send any more documentation out. In this connection, always be required to appear in court, in person or through counsel. At this point, however, such person may assert as an affirmative defense that the actions complained of arose in connection with the performance of official acts. If, upon examination of the circumstances complained of, the court agrees, then the court is without jurisdiction to proceed, and the case must be dismissed. Every time you get in court, hey, I'm a consul. According to what? 1099, 105905, 1963, Morris Science Symbol of America, A, B, C, D, E, and F. I was just doing consulate duties. Well, what do you mean? Here's some nationality cards. Here's some paperwork for some of my nationals. No, you cannot see it because this law says that you can't. Here's a whole bunch of seals embossed. Here's a whole bunch of insignias of my government, of my tribe. What you want to do? Oh, really? Okay. Oh, case dismissed. Law enforcement officers are requested to contact the Department of State before arresting a consular officer, or, if not possible, immediately after arrest. Call the Department of State, Mr. Trooper, after you contact OT Bay and he sends the information on how to get your status corrected in this system. Consular officers who are full-time practitioners of consular functions are referred to as career consular officers. These officers are normally nationals of the sending country who are sent to the United States to perform these functions for a specific period and then are transferred to a further assignment. Career consular officers are prohibited by international law from engaging in professional or commercial activities outside the scope of their official consular functions. Consular employees perform the administrative and technical support services for the consular post. They have no personal inviolability, only official acts immunity, and enjoy immunity from the obligation to provide evidence as witnesses. Thank you for your light working, because I didn't even smoke this whole thing. That was great. Yeah, because all it is a thought of energy that is trying to compel your mind to do a specific thing. That's all it is. So all of y'all thoughts of energy that wanted me to not engage in poison in my system, help me not do so. Woo! But I still needed the earth, the nicotine, for whatever reason, even though I don't need it. It's all afforded to me. Matter of fact, I can breathe in. Did you know it's monks right now in Malaysia, in the caves? They don't eat. They live off of energy, pure energy alone. Breathe in the molecules. Breathe in the energy. Breathe in the nutrients. off the ground, and the boys just chill. They've done research. They videoed these men. They went 2 weeks, 3 weeks where they didn't eat anything, just lived off of energy. They got it recorded. Go watch them. Breathing techniques. I'm telling you, it works. Honorary councils are American citizens. I think they just be going over it more and more. Where am I at? International organization personnel and national missions to such organizations. International organizations such as the United Nations, international organizations such as the United Nations are relatively modern entities. Duh. Aloha, Melissa Pagans. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your energy and sharing these posts and this information. If you feel it frees us, then you go right ahead and keep on sharing it on up everywhere you go. The privileges and immunities of the personnel of such organizations and the personnel of national missions to such organizations have a different basis than that of diplomatic and consular representatives. In the case of international organizations, the nations concerned have agreed that the important purposes of such organizations may be accomplished only if a certain measure of privileges and immunities are afforded to their participants. The nations concerned have concluded treaties embodying such grants and privileges, some including the United States, enacted domestic legislation granting specific privileges and immunities to certain categories of persons not covered by the treaties. The United States Service Corporation members are not protected by any treaty. So, of course, this would be for them. Demetrius Bay, good to see you. Hola. Yeah, that brings me back. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to learn how to do that. Then I'm going to be drinking out my big organic coconut. Boy, I'm going to be doing it. I promise you. I'm tired of the North Gate. The North Gate got problems, psychological problems. In determining the degree of inviolability or immunity, law enforcement officers will be guided primarily by the identity documents that have been issued to such persons. We have those. The following, however, provides a general overview of the distribution of privileges and immunities in connection with international organizations. Now, y'all jump on and jump off and send it when you can, because I ban. So you might need to go get your coffee or your tea, get you something to eat, grab some friends, get them on, because at the end of the day, when I'm done with this teaching, then I'm gone. Meaning I'm on my way to China so I can begin to officiate and help the Moors there build the consulates. And to get my mom home in the Roatan Republic. International personnel of international organizations. International organizations that have headquarters or other offices in the United States are staffed with administrative and executive employees as necessary to carry out their functions. What? You mean to tell me when I go get my consulate in one of the capitals that they're going to give me people to work for me and with me? Oh, I already got mine, buddy. Thank you for the offer. And, matter of fact, your people can serve the people that came with me. When my people ask of them something, let them do it. So that would be things like going to get your coffee, or doing your dry cleaning, or whatever the things the heirs of the land are doing for the service corporation members while they pretend to be you. Wait. The vast majority of these employees enjoy only official acts immunity as provided for in U.S. domestic legislation, the International Organizations Immunity Acts. Always put that on your documents and your records. 22 U.S.C. 2881. And no personal inviolability. Everything you do on your documentation is going to have a few things. This is one of them. 22 USC 2881. Write it on everything. No personal inviolability. I wouldn't do it yet. The reason why is this. If you keep on professing to have the USC jurisdiction, to have the corporate jurisdiction, when you're doing your affidavits and your 1099s and you're sending them to the IRS, and they find out that you don't have this jurisdiction, they're coming for your ass, buddy, and you got it. So, wait until your status is corrected before you start putting in all of this stuff. In certain cases, however, the most senior executive of such organizations have been accorded privileges and immunities equal to those afforded diplomatic agents. This is the case for the Secretary General of the United Nations and for all Under-Secretary General and Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations, principal representatives of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Who? Y'all better listen. When the Pope said in the 2014 civil order that the International Monetary Fund was the strong arm, then all the information gets sent to them when the corporations are doing something they ain't got no business doing. So you know that based on the Vienna Convention and consular relations, anything that has to do with you has to also do with representations of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, both of which you need access to, which I'll show you how to do that too. Once we manage our minor accounts from the Treasury Direct, and we prove to whoever it is that we have the lawful intellect to be able to govern without messing shit up, then we get access to the minor accounts, or to the major accounts. Yeah. And the World Bank, as well as some senior officials of the Organization of American States Secretariat. All right, write that down. American States Secretariat. That's the secretaries for all the corporations, all the secretaries. There is an appointed secretary for all the corporations. When y'all list those, then you can start talking to the secretaries. All the matriarchs call the secretaries. Hey, I just want to tell you some truth, and just talk to them. You're of this nationality. You're of this bloodline. Genetics say this. Haplogroup type says that. Start teaching them. Yeah. They're indoctrinated as you. They are as indoctrinated as you. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. That's why they did it. You don't know what's going on, and the service corporation doesn't know what's going on. So when you get to each other, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then y'all start fighting. Because you don't know how to articulate yourselves. Oh, color of language. Oh, color of law. Personal and national missions to international organizations. The United Nations and the Organization of American States are headquartered in the United States, and most of their member states maintain permanent missions to the headquarters of the United States. What's the permanent mission? Constantinianism, Christian doctrine, Magna Carta, Christian Black Codes, 1774 or 76 Christian Black Codes. Please don't misquote yourself. What else? There are so many more documents of legislation that the United States Service Corporation propagates around this land. That's their mission. That's their missionary mission. Christianity, Constantinianism, British Accredited Registry, the Bar Association, and color law, and color language. And this is how the Tower of Babel falls. When we stop coloring our language, learn syntax, please. Woo! Come on with it. Accredited to international organizations concerned, not to the United States, but their privileges and immunities are nonetheless often defined by reference to the status of diplomatic personnel who are accredited to the United States. As is the case with diplomatic missions, the assignments of privileges and immunities is differentiated generally on the basis of the functions performed. Short-term official visitors from other states to the United Nations or to international conferences conveyed by the United Nations may enjoy full diplomatic immunity equivalent to that afforded diplomatic agents. Owing to the temporary nature of their visit. Such officials will normally not have the usual official identity documents recognizable in the United States. Law enforcement officials, particularly in New York, should be sensitive to the existence of the situation and always coordinate with the U.S. authorities indicated in the list of useful phone numbers and confronted with an apparent offender appearing to fall in this category. Why in New York, the Empire State? Everybody in New York should be listening to me right now. Why in New York should they be particularly concerned with what's going on? The Empire State. I'll tell you later. The Empire State has a lot to do with everything. Yeah. Designated employees of TECRO and TECO. Designated employees of the TAIPE, TAPE Economic and Cultural Representative Office of the United States. Get it down and research that. What the hell is TECRO? Taipei Economic and Cultural Representative Office in the United States. What is TECRO? Taipei Economic and Cultural Offices. Oh, y'all got to get to them and call them and ask them who they are and what can they be doing for you, the national. The TECO and its subsidiaries and other facilitate the commercial, cultural, and other relations between the people of the United States and the people of Taiwan. What the fuck? They operated in the United States pursuant to Taiwan Relations Act in 1979 and the Agreement on Privileges, Exemptions, and Immunities between the American Institute in Taiwan and the Taipei Economic and Cultural Representative Office of the United States. Yeah, Dow Jones. Yeah, listen. Taiwan got it. Taiwanese people got it. Why the Moors ain't got it? Because we got COINTEL giving us false information. Having us run around like chickens with our heads cut off, sending 100,000 documents and never getting no response. Listen, the fee for your documentation is 35 FRN notes. The last time I checked, there was about 500 registered nationality proclamations. Okay? 35 times 500 Federal Reserve notes. Take that energy and put it towards helping me build a university and plant-based kitchens all over Morocco. Come on, baby. Talking about TECRO, I guess I'll do it. Designated employees of TECRO located in Washington, D.C. are accredited by the American Institute in Taiwan, enjoy full immunity from criminal jurisdiction, but only enjoy immunity from civil jurisdiction with respect to their official acts. They are not subject to any form of arrest or detention. So that means if someone had to arrest them, they would have to call the Taiwanese government and fly somebody over here to arrest that person and bring them back to Taiwan. A Taiwanese person can murder you in cold blood, and the United States Service Corporation will look at your dead body and look at the Taiwanese person and call the Taiwanese government to come pick that person up. Oh, look at how much authority we have as consuls on the land. And you too can exercise the Libra codes. You're a superior commanding officer. The Libra code says that if a officer of a lower rank disobeys your order, you can exercise the Libra codes, not limited to banging that person, dissipating that energy on the spot with no criminal prosecution involved. ICE deportation. Correct. I wish my Latino Moors would get a hold of me, because I could show them with this ICE, while the ICE is deporting them all off the land, a way to help themselves out. Yeah. So they go through, and this is all about Taiwanese government and how they're doing it. Now we talk about identifications of persons entitled to privileges and immunities in the United States. It is critical for law enforcement officers to identify quickly and accurately the status of any persons asserting immunity. Numerous documents are associated with foreign diplomats. Only one provides an accurate indication of the status of the holder. Oh, only one provides an accurate identification. This section endeavors to explain the array of documents and clarify the police officers which ones may be relied upon. Really? Okay, let's do it. Identification cards issued by the U.S. Department of State. Now, yes, I get it. We're our own people. We should have our own consulate. We should be issuing our own members their own consulate IDs. But before we do that, developing relationships with already established consulates is a good sound practice. The only authoritative identity document is the identity card issued by the U.S. Department of State. You got a Moorish American ID card right now? Not valid. You have a state identification card? Not valid. Have a missionary card from somebody doing identity cards, identity nationality cards? Not valid. No lawful jurisdiction. Sorry. You got a piece of paper you wrote your own identity on? Not valid. Sorry. Oh, U.S. Department of State. The U.S. missions to the United States in the case of persons accredited to the United Nations. And the American Institute in Taiwan for the employees of TECRO or TECO. They are the three types of identification cards. See sample cards. You get to see them. Go to the sample page. Then you'll know what your cards need to look like when you're going around trying to assert your foreign diplomatic immunity on this land. Green border for U.S. employees and United Nations Permanent Mission Support staff and TECRO employees, and consular red border for consular personnel of TECRO employees. Now, we're not consuls for the United States Service Corporation. So this is the problem I'm having right now. When we hit them up, we're going to let them know we have our own identification cards, which I'm creating right now. And we need them to figure out what they're going to do concerning letting their people know that we're operating in our own official consulate authority, not having any need for their identification cards. Because that's where we're going. We're going to a place where we don't have a need for them to issue us anything. But until we get there, which is our people coming together and buying machines that create identification cards, which is our people with graphic design knowledge coming together and creating the IDs, which is our people. Yeah. And it goes down and it lists all of everything that the cards look like. Tax exempt cards, not conclusive for immunity. Nope, like this one though. Automobile registration license plates and driver's license, not conclusive for immunity. The plates are coded to reflect the degree of immunity the registered owner of the vehicle enjoys. Now, when we create our own identity and our own IDs, this is the problem that we're having. Our plates aren't coded to reflect the degree of immunity that the registered owner of the vehicle enjoys. Well, how is it coded? 1, by flags of the official government you're under. 1. 2, by a registered number that's put into the system or the corporation. That's 2, how it's coded. 3, flags, whatever the identification number is, and the status of the person with the particular identification, status and nationality. And then it's got the codes right here. It shows the codes. So I guess we can use that. I guess we can use this and put these codes on there. But just again, at the end of the day, when their corporate system that has already been established, which we're establishing through blockchain technology right now, when they go into their corporate system, if they don't see you in there as registered, as immune from any of them, then they're going to mess with you. So we got to do what we got to do until we get to where we need to go. Telephonic information and verification. Not even with your phones, buddy. Terms and procedures. And we're about done. With that being said, please take this information to, oh shit, I gotta do this. Damn, this is all us. Handling incidents. Page 24. Almost done. It's the policy of the U.S. Department of State with respect to alleged criminal violations by persons with immunity, that's all of us, from criminal jurisdiction, to encourage law enforcement authorities to pursue investigations vigorously, to prepare cases carefully and completely, and to document properly each incident so that the charges may be pursued as far as possible in the U.S. judicial system. Why does that keep on coming on? Flags, documents, etc. It's all their intellectual property of the body politic that is pushing it, enforcing it. Yes. But damn, I can't call my family to come get me on the road. What were you reading from? Tamak Tunde Gems L. I am in the www.state.gov/documents/organization/150546 state.gov/documents/organization/150546.pdf. The vast majority of persons entitled to privileges and immunities in the United States are judicious in their actions and keenly aware of the significance attached to their actions as representatives of their sending country. On occasion, however, one of them may become involved in criminal misconduct. The more common violations are traffic, illegal parking, speeding, reckless driving, and DWI, shoplifting, and assault. Speeding, definitely. Because I'll be driving fast and shit everywhere. I'll be floating, weaving in and out of everything. Look, and I do not care. And then somebody told me, well, isn't that dangerous, them type of speeds? Yeah, if you don't know how to navigate in those type of speeds. If you do, which I've been driving that fast for quite some time as a kid. I love everything to do with model cars and everything. Yeah. Whatever the offense of circumstance of contact, law enforcement officers should keep in mind that such persons are official representative of foreign governments. What's the foreign government? The Almoracan Empire. Or the foreign government, well, yeah, it's foreign to the corporation, but not foreign to us, who are to be accorded the maximum degree of respect possible under the circumstance. Threaten to bust my windows? Of course I ain't had my status corrected, but still, afforded the highest level of respect. Handcuff me, kidnap me, strip me naked, made me get naked and cough in front of like 8 people, threatened to take my clothes off and put me in a psych ward, wouldn't feed me for 3 days because I refused to eat, because I knew if I ate, I would participate in their surety in their system. I got the game from one of the Albions that went through what he had to go through to become his own nation. Duh, how you think they doing it? Their nationality is through proper syntax language. He registered his syntax document. Oh yeah, they did try to do me. He registered his syntax document in the United Nations, and they raised it and recognized it. Now him and all the Albions and all the Europeans under syntax document and under that flag that they did, you know what? For 2 whole months, Tamak Tunde L shut me down, pushed me out the consulate, was talking crazy about me, discredited me, my situation. But you know what? I turned around, and all of them, I'm still helping. Because when people say to me, I tried to reach the consulate and I couldn't, the Moorish American consulate, I still answer. And they reach me. And I consul just the way the Moorish American consulate is supposed to do. And the nationals still get help. So I thank you kindly. Yeah? And this is what integrity is about. Didn't eat for 3 days. The Moorish American consulate did send a whole bunch of documentation. I don't know what it did, it didn't do, but I was released on my own recognizance. I know that. I know that they were there for me, which I don't hear from them now. Y'all hear from me still. Y'all answer my phone, and y'all call me and check in on me. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Verifying suspect identity and status. When a law enforcement official is called to the scene of a criminal incident involving a person who claims diplomatic or consular immunity, the first step should be to verify the status of the subject. Should the person be unable to provide satisfactory identification and the situation be one that would normally warrant arrest or detention, the officer should inform the individual that he or she will be detained until his or her identity can be confirmed. That's the only thing they're trying to do. No water either. And I fasted one time, no water or food for 5 days straight. And that was amazing. I got to feel how all of our Asiatics all around the world are feeling because we won't get up and do what we need to do. Hungry as shit. Yeah. And a whole bunch of other divine stuff happened. Fasting is great. Y'all should do that to get the parasites out your body. Yeah. They're trying to figure out your identity. That was it. That's what they're trying to do every time. What is your status and your identity, and do they have the lawful authority to esteat your estate? That's all they're trying to figure out. Should the person be unable to provide, inform the individual detained, blah, 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 until the identity can be confirmed. In all cases, including those in which the suspect provides a U.S. Department of State issued identification card, the law enforcement officers should verify the suspect's status by contacting the U.S. Department of State, or in the case of the UN community, with the U.S. mission to the United Nations at the phone numbers listed in the back of this booklet. Once the status is verified, the officer should prepare his or her report fully describing the details of the circumstance of the incident in accordance with normal police procedures. Now, you know this wouldn't happen if we did this correctly and send it to every sheriff on the land concerning all the Asiatics having identification cards from the temples with the 1010-5905 and the 1099 affidavit on it that has the lawful wording of consulate on it. Never have to worry about that. Who's that? Oh, hey, Johanna. In Florida, right now. Got family, but dealing with kind of a circumstance of what would appear to be homelessness. If you got family and you homeless, those aren't your family. Period. I would never call them again or speak to them. And I would find people that treated me like family and afforded me the privilege of a home. That's if I am active in doing something with my life. Yeah. If the suspect enjoys personal inviolability, he or she may not be handcuffed, except when that individual poses an immediate threat to safety, and may not be arrested or detained. Once all pertinent information is obtained, that person must be released. A copy of the incident report should also be faxed and emailed as soon as possible to the United States Department of State in Washington, or to the U.S. missions to the UN in New York in cases involving the UN community. Detailed documentation of incidents is essential to enable the U.S. Department of State to carry out its policies. Traffic enforcement, driver history infractions and point program, DUI and other serious cases, property and inviolability and vehicles. The property of a person enjoying full criminal immunity, including his or her vehicle, may not be searched or seized. Such vehicles may not be impounded or booted, may not be told the distance necessary to remove them from obstructing traffic or endangering public safety. If a vehicle that is owned by a diplomat is suspect of being stolen or used in the commission of a crime, occupants of the vehicle may be required to prevent documentation to permit police verification of the vehicle status through the standard access to NLETS, use access code US. So that's a place you can go and research now. NLETS, use access code US. Oh, that's probably some system that y'all ass ain't got no type of afforded to. Straight up. Go in a system and try to get it. Vehicles registered to consular officers, including those with full criminal immunity, and consulates are not inviolable and may be towed, impounded, or booted in accordance. or mission. Okay. Insurance. Conclusion. We're concluding. It is important that law enforcement and judicial authorities of the United States always treat foreign diplomat and consular personnel with respect, with due regard for the privileges and immunities to which they are entitled under international law. Any failure to do so has the potential of casting doubt on the commitment of the United States to carry out its international obligations or of negatively influencing larger foreign policy interests. Which is to say, damn, we fucking up our money. As stated above, however, appropriate caution should not become a total hands-off attitude in connection with criminal law enforcement actions involving diplomats. Foreign diplomats who violate traffic laws should be cited. Allegations of serious crime should be fully investigated, promptly reported to the U.S. Department of State, and procedurally developed to the maximum permissible extent. This is why when they blow the heart out of one of our sons' chests, when the service corporation goes and looks in the corporate system and that person is registered as some diplomat with immunity, there's nothing happening. Crime, committed crime, murder. There's no justice, no justice. Why? That's why. So, local law enforcement authorities should never be inhibited in their efforts to protect the public welfare in extreme situations. The U.S. Department of State should be advised promptly of any serious difficulties arising in connection with diplomatic or consular personnel. Why haven't we contacted the U.S. Department of State, or have we, concerning the issues that we're having operating as a consulate on land? I remember the pictures they posted about the head. I never paid any attention to them. I remember the pictures they posted of everyone and everything. I never looked into them because I want to allow a person to show me themselves. So I never allow anyone to show me another human being. If someone tells me about another human being, I disregard it and I let that human being show me who they are. Once that human being shows me who they are, they have one opportunity for reconciliation. If they show me who they are in a different light, then I see that it's the Jovian window. Go look it up. The self you can't see. You'll never be able to see your own self. But other people can. And when they start telling you about yourself, if you begin to hear it, then those things that are corrected from the invisible self you can't see, you'll start begin to work on and change. It's all about how you show up. Love you. Peace and praise to you. These appendages, I'll show you right now so y'all can see them. This is how it's supposed to really look. This is how your identification is supposed to look. And you can't forge it. The hoteps that are selling you IDs can't forge it. Why? Because when your number, that number right there, that has been given to you by the corporation, actually the United Nations, there's a difference between the corporation and the United Nations. Know that. The United Nations governs the corporate entity. Those numbers, when they type them in, they will see in their registered system that you are a foreign diplomat, immune. You're welcome, Akil. I know it's been a long time. You told me you wanted step-by-step instructions. I finally got it. I'm not all scatterbrained around, and I'm showing what they need to look like. So once your IDs look like this, and you have a registered number from them, then you can operate a diplomatic immunity and do your consular business without being infringed upon or anything like that. I appreciate you all. I thank you for your service, for uplifting risen humanity. And plant-based kitchen is what I'm on after this. Now that we know how to effectively operate as a true consulate, and I'm going to be going around building them, my sole purpose is plant-based kitchens. Peace and praise to you. I'll be back with you soon.